Okay, so a little backstory, and I'm going to try to get you a decent example of what's going on with my car. I've got a 2006 Mazda 3 hatchback, 2.3 liter. I've replaced both front struts. They needed it regardless. I've replaced one lower control arm. Bushings were bad. I've had an alignment done and my wheels balanced. What I had before replacing these parts was going over even the smallest of bumps was a very annoying loud rattle. When I replaced the shocks, it did solve the problem for about a week. The only trouble I had was if I went over something steep and uneven where one wheel bottomed out and the other did not, like leaving a driveway, I would get a pretty hefty clunk, which I could deal with. I could understand that, but like I said, after a little bit of time, all that noise came back and there is a terrible shake in the steering wheel. Seems like it's worse than it ever was before I replaced the parts. So I'm getting on the highway now, which is when it happens, and since I just had the car aligned and all four wheels balanced, I'm going to show you what is going on. And I purchased some sway bar links and put this little video together. If it solves my problem, then you'll be watching me speak right now. Try to do this as safely as I can, so I'm not looking at the camera. The car still has a slight pull to it, and what's weird, maybe this is your situation, which is why you're watching YouTube, searching Google. The car doesn't really shake, but the steering wheel just goes nuts, and it'll stop for 10-12 seconds, then it'll start up again. And there definitely seem to be sweet spots where it doesn't do it at all. Now it's really kicking in for no apparent reason. I'm trying just to keep the car straight without reducing this movement. Drop it down a little bit. I don't want to go too far under the speed limit. I hate when people do that. So basically this starts up anywhere above 50, but especially above 60, up to 70. 70 miles an hour is typically where things even out and feel the smoothest. But like right now, it's shaking again pretty bad. Yeah, that's probably as good a shot as any as I'm going to get you guys. But that's what's happening. My car's not shaking, but the steering wheel is shaking like nobody's business. Now I've got some Moog sway bar links I bought today. Greased the fittings up prior to installation. You can see the box down there on the floor. When I have a second, I'm gonna slap these things on, give you some helpful hints if I have any. Pretty straightforward, and give you the end result video. Alright, so here we've got the old, this was something somebody obviously ordered offline, super cheap. You can even see here in the picture, this steel is nothing compared to what this actual Moog part is made of. At least twice as heavy. The joint nice and stiff, and the problem here, as you can see, is there's just nothing left on any of these anymore. So if you have these crappy ones, which you may or may not, you'll need a 17mm wrench, or a pair of vice grips that you can lock, because this back section here, you can fit a 17 on that. That will help you hold it still and crank it off. And for the nuts, obviously, you're going to need a 17mm socket. But since you probably don't have that, we'll move on from there. Again, I have a 2006 Mazda 3S GT, so it's the 2.3 liter hatchback. Here's your part number. Pick this up at Advance. Regular price is $48. Both of them together came to $97 basically. I added $5 extra so I could use a coupon code I bought some brake grease just to put it over 100. Used an online coupon code for $40 off of anything over 100. So I got these total for 66 bucks. You can get these for 50 if you wait and order them off Amazon. But hey, I'm helping the economy, I guess, right? I didn't feel like waiting. Oddly enough, what you're going to need for the Moog nut is a 15mm socket. A little extension is going to be handy. If you don't have a breaker bar, what I like to use is this handy pipe that you'll see in my other videos. Fits over the end, gives me some leverage. So obviously your ratchet, your 15 for that, and if you aren't going to use the vice grips, you'll want to get out the 18mm. Could be saying that wrong. Let me check this one more time. Yes. The I don't even know what to call this, but this back portion here, you can fit an 18mm wrench around the back of that. And that's basically what we're going to do now. So, save you a whole lot of time and headache. There's your top mounting bracket, the lower mount on the actual sway bar. And the all-important piece to remember is you are going to need to jack up the rotor to get the tension off the old one to pop it out and to realign the new one. So, I'll get this sucker lined up. Okay, so the important thing here, make sure you reattach this bracket like so. I've forgotten this multiple times. You can see here I've got the 18mm wrench positioned behind the bolt to hold that in place. Now we're going to take our ratchet with a little extension, tighten this guy down. Alright, you can see here there's actually quite a bit of room to work. I will warn you that if you don't have a decent length ratchet, you're going to bust your knuckles on here a few times, so be aware of that. You can see here we've got the jack. You're going to need that to line up the bottom mount, and I would recommend you start with the top like I did. If you choose to go the other route, you'll figure out why. Okay, so that pretty well wraps that up. We'll get this wheel on, move the car over because my garage is too small, slap the other side on the same way, and we'll turn this video back on tomorrow and see if we got rid of our shake. Alright, I apologize for the rain, but I can't control that. Put the sway bar links on last night, and right now, even though you can't quite see it, my street is pretty terrible. Every one of these little bumps that I'm going over would have rattled and clanged around. The new sway bar links, no noise. Nice firm suspension again. We'll pick this back up once I hit the highway. Alright, it is a rainy morning, so I'll make this part short. You can see I'm cruising just over 70. And all of that shake in the steering wheel, I'm more than happy to say is gone, especially on a wet day like this. I have a tiny bit of vibration I can still feel, and we'll say that that's probably due to what the mechanic told me, that all four of the inside of my rims were a little bent. Couldn't tell me why, and what I saw, I didn't see damage, but aluminum rims, who the heck knows. There's just a tad bit of a vibration, but I could blame that more on wheels being unbalanced. But I definitely feel like I've got control of the car again, especially below 70. At this point, 70 used to be the sweet spot, and now maybe just a tad different than it was. So there you go. Obviously, shaking is going to be primarily caused by wheels being unbalanced, which is a pretty cheap fix. And go through Amazon or eBay, but be careful you're getting genuine parts. or buy online through Advance and use coupon codes. Save yourself some money, get them right away. But if you've tried everything else and you've got a knocking and a rattle and a shake in the steering wheel on the highway, grab a hold of those sway bar links, and if you can move them by hand, they're definitely bad.